Hello everyone, this is Dr. Nidhi Khare. Thank you for joining me. Today's topic of my lecture is group dynamics. Now students, within an organization we do find number of groups. Individuals joining group or groups is a reality, maybe formal or informal groups. People work in groups quite frequently and in many different areas of their life, like at work, school, college, sports, hobbies, etc. The managers need to understand group dynamics that can enable managers to adapt the right approach of interacting with them. This is why the study of group dynamics is very important. Group dynamics can be used as a means for problem solving, teamwork, and to become more innovative and productive as an organization as a whole. This concept will provide you with the strengths, success factors, and measures of group dynamics. So we'll now try to understand the concept of group dynamics. The word dynamics means force. Hence, group dynamics means the study of forces operating within a group for the social interaction. Group dynamics are the processes that occur between group members. These dynamics are affected by each member's internal thoughts and feelings, their expressed thoughts and feelings, their non-verbal communication, and the relationship between group members. Group dynamics helps you understand how each person's actions make sense in the context of the group. The term group dynamics describes the way in which people in a group interact with one another. Group dynamics deals with the attitudes and behavioral patterns of a group. Group dynamics concern how groups are formed, what is their structure, and which processes are followed in their functioning. Thus, it is concerned with the interactions and forces operating between these groups. Now there are two types of group dynamics: positive group dynamics and poor group dynamics. Kurt Lewin, a social psychologist and change management expert, is credited with coining the term group dynamics in the early 1940s. He noted that people often take on distinct roles and behaviors when they work in a group. Group dynamics describes the effects of these roles and behaviors on other group members and also on the group as a whole. Now, a group with positive dynamic is easy to spot. Team members trust one another, they work towards a collective decision, and they hold one another accountable for making things happen. As well as this, researchers have found that when a team has a positive dynamic, its members are nearly twice as creative as an average group. However, in a group with poor group dynamics, people's behavior disrupts work. As a result, what happens is the group may not come to any decision, or it may make the wrong choice because group members could not explore options effectively. So what are the causes of poor group dynamics? Group leaders and team members can contribute to a negative group dynamic. Let's look at some of the most common problems that can occur. Weak leadership, excessive deference to authority, blocking, groupthink, free riding, and evaluation apprehension are some of the causes of poor group dynamics. We'll take each of this cause in detail. Weak leadership. When a team lacks a strong leader, what happens? What happens is that a more dominant member of the group can often take charge. This can lead to a lack of direction, infighting, or a focus on the wrong priorities. Excessive deference to authority. This can happen when people want to be seen to agree with a leader and therefore hold back from expressing their own opinions. Blocking. This happens when team members behave in a way that disrupts the flow of information in the group. People can adopt blocking roles such as the aggressor, the negator, the withdrawer, the recognition seeker, and the joker. The aggressor. This person often disagrees with others or is inappropriately outspoken. The negator. This group member is often critical of others' ideas. The withdrawer. This person doesn't participate in the discussion at all. The recognition seeker. This group member is boastful or dominates the session. Lastly, the joker. This person introduces humor at inappropriate times. A joker in your team can have a negative effect on group dynamics. Groupthink. This happens when people place a desire for consensus above their desire to reach the right decision. This prevents people from fully exploring alternative solutions. We have discussed groupthink before also in the first lecture. Free riding. Here some group members take it easy and leave their colleagues to do all the work. Free riders may work hard on their own, but they limit their contributions in group situations. This is known as social loafing. Lastly, evaluation apprehension. Team members' perceptions can also create a negative group dynamic. Evaluation apprehension happens when people feel that they are being judged excessively harshly by other group members and they hold back their opinions as a result. So what are the strategies for improving group dynamics? Imagine that you have brought together the brightest people in your department to solve a problem. You have high hopes for the group, so obviously you feel frustrated when people can't come to a decision. There may be several factors that are holding the group back. To start with, one person is very critical of colleagues' ideas. You suspect that his fault finding is discouraging others from speaking up. Another has hardly contributed to the sessions at all. When asked for his opinion, he simply agrees with a more dominant colleague. Finally, one group member makes humorous comments at unhelpful times, which upsets the momentum of the discussion. These are classic examples of poor group dynamics, and they can undermine the success of a project as well as people morale and engagement. So as managers, you can use some approaches to improve group dynamics. The approaches like know your team, tackle problems quickly, define roles and responsibilities, break down barriers, focus on communication, and pay attention. Know your team. As a leader, you need to guide the development of your group. So, start by learning about the phases that a group goes through as it develops. This we have already discussed in the previous lecture. All the phases we have already discussed. When you understand these, you will be able to preempt problems that could arise, including issues with poor group dynamics. Next, identify positive and negative group roles to understand how they could affect the group as a whole. When dynamics are positive, the group works well together. When dynamics are poor, the group's effectiveness is reduced. Tackle problems quickly. If you noticed that one member of your team has adopted a behavior that's affecting the group unhelpfully, act quickly to challenge it. Provide feedback that shows your team member the impact of his actions and encourage him to reflect on how he can change his behavior. Define roles and responsibilities. Teams that lack focus or direction can quickly develop poor dynamics as people struggle to understand their role in the group. Break down barriers. Use team building exercises to help everyone get to know one another, particularly when new members join the group. These exercises ease new colleagues into the group gently and also help to combat the black sheep effect, which happens when group members turn against people they consider different. Lead by example. Share what you hope the group will achieve, along with safe personal information about yourself, such as valuable lessons that you have learned. Focus on communication. Open communication is central to good team dynamics. So make sure that everyone is communicating clearly. Include all the forms of communication that your group uses, like emails, meetings, and shared documents, to avoid any ambiguity. If the status of a project changes, or if you have an announcement to make, let people know as soon as possible. That way you can ensure that everyone has the same information. Pay attention. Watch out for the warning signals of poor group dynamics. Pay particular attention to frequent unanimous decisions, as these can be a sign of groupthink, bullying, or free riding. If there are frequent unanimous decisions in your group, please consider exploring new ways to encourage people to discuss their views or to share them anonymously. To strengthen your team's dynamics, you can use any of these strategies, and you have to pay attention which strategy or a combination of these strategies may be suitable for the situation. Students, please keep in mind that observing how your group interacts is an important part of your role as a leader. Many of the behaviors that lead to poor dynamics can be overcome if you catch them early. Thank you.